It's a whole different thing in reality. You know, Nigerians, we don't like to read. Read it.
Oh,
Read
we don't like to read.
You're about to accept what will kill you.
Okay, no problem. But my dear, when you see your paycheck, Baba is gonna be there.
Buckle up. If you have to come with enough Lucozade boost, come with it because you will need energy.
But they don't know that we as Nigerians now work be priority.
I feel like this is actually mitigating factors.
Yeah.
Baby girl that was coming to come and school and pay school fees. It's mentally and emotionally draining. Welcome to Canada.
Hey my loves, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, you already know I love you so much. Thank you for coming back to watch another video. If this is your first time, you're welcome. Mara here. I'm a Nigerian who is currently living and schooling in Canada. I love to make lifestyle videos and immigration tips to help international students who want to move to Canada. In today's video, I have two of my beautiful friends here because we are going to be having a conversation that is quite interesting, and we're going to just share our experiences. I've been in Canada for about 16 months. How long have you been in Canada, Christy?
4 months.
4 months.
9 months.
So we just wanted to share our experiences as international students living in Canada. I hope that it helps someone that is looking to move into Canada, or even people that are already in Canada. If you can relate to some of the things we are going to share in this video, please leave a comment in the comment section so that we just engage and have a good time. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So Lauren and Christy also have a YouTube channel. You guys should check them out. I'm going to have their YouTube channels on the description box and also on the screen as I speak, so make sure you check them out. So we've written down some points, like we just had a conversation and we wrote down some points that is quite common with all of us, and do not forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, so the first one would be schooling and working abroad. When we were back home, they said are you guys laughing already? When we were back home, like, the whole idea I had about going to school in Canada and working, I just saw it as like chilled life. I'm just gonna do a few school work, and then I go to work, earn money, just live the good life, and you know.
They told us how it's very easy to school and work.
Yes,
I'm telling you,
like that is so easy. You can combine it, but honestly, guys, like I'm going to share my experience, and they are going to share theirs. It is a nightmare. Like it's not something you want to do, honestly, but we are doing it because it's a price we are paying. But it's very, very hard. It's very, very stressful, especially if you're the one paying your tuition here. You cannot even say, oh, let me just work, let me just go to school and not work.
Even if you're not paying your tuition, other
bills, yes. Like if you're the one paying your bills, doing all those things by yourself, it's going to be so hard for you to stay without working. So working is already, we said it in my last video that like, if you're coming to Canada, you just have to have a tough skin. So I'm saying this just because if you're back home and you're wondering or thinking, oh no, it's chill. It's not chill. Come with a braced up mentality, because you're going to really, really have it tough sometime.
Yeah, for me, you know, I had this impression that, okay, when I come, it's just going to be work and school. It's like, it's a whole different thing in reality, because Canada runs a 24 hours economy. So which means that most jobs are 24 hours, like they are on 24 hours. So it's either your morning, afternoon, or night shift.
Yeah.
I just came back from a night shift. Yeah, shooting this video. I have my assignments, some of my assignments are due, although I've done them. I have tests, I need to go back to study. I'm working tonight. It's not easy. Like, it's mentally and emotionally draining, but the only thing that keeps us going is just telling ourselves it's just a phase, and it's just going to go away, right? So this is not to discourage you, but just to tell you to come prepared. It's not as easy as it sounds. It is hard, my sisters, brothers. It is hard, but you know, it's a survival of the fittest, and it's one of the prices you need to pay to get to where you want to be. Either ways, you will suffer back home or here, but you have to choose
your own suffer.
Just pick your battles. So as for me, I think this is a fair deal, given that it's just going to be for a period of time.
Before Lauren speaks, I'm going to say something, just a disclaimer, because I don't want people to come in the comment section and they start saying, you are in Canada, you're living a life, and you're telling people not to come. See, the perspective we are bringing out we are going to even talk about the positive sides,
Yeah.
right, of being here. But the perspective we are bringing out is just for people that are back home. So if you are coming, like
To
you're
get
coming
prepared.
with, to just
Yeah,
be
just to
prepared.
know, yeah.
We are not bearers of bad news, right?
Yeah.
We're not trying to just like, and we are not even speculating. It's not like
Yeah.
they are lies. These are realities of living here. So we're just bringing it to you.
So you come
don't
prepared.
Yeah. So
Basically.
don't think we are just, everybody will be like, why are people always saying negative things about Canada? We're not saying negative things per se, but we're just trying to pass the information so that people coming here will be better prepared. So Lauren, can you share your experience working and schooling?
I think they basically said everything. Like, it's so difficult working and schooling here. Like, Jesus Christ, it's not easy at all. Like, most times you have to be at work, and then the next day you have presentations in school, you have exams. Like, you won't even get time to study, because someone like me personally, I don't even know if to say I'm lucky that I don't get to like do the whole night shift things, and or like my own job, we close at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
But then still it's still like very, very stressful, because we close by 6. Let's say I get home by 6:30 or 7 p.m. Like, I'm exhausted. I need to like fix something to eat, and I don't know. And then another thing with their job here, most jobs you're expected to like stand.
Yeah.
It's not like Nigerian job that you can actually like get to like sit down when there's maybe a customer, if you're doing a customer. I'm telling you, like
12 hours is 12 hours of standing.
so like it's very, very hectic. So most times when you get home, you're just so exhausted, you just need to like rest, and you wouldn't even have time to like read your books, and it's not easy. It's crazy.
And you're
Yeah.
expected to pass that exam.
So
honestly.
except you want to come back the next
The
day.
next day. Okay, guys, just because we are not bearers of bad news, I'm going to just like chip in things that I feel like if you're here as an international student, a way that you can balance work and school.
Yeah.
So as a student here, you're actually working part-time. So what you can do is just to pick hours that kind of like, not just, you can't kill yourself. Like, there's only what you can do, right? So you have to just pick a number of hours, just be strategic about it.
Yeah.
And for me too, some days I just do half day so that I can come back, do school work and sleep and just get a rest, okay?
Yeah.
And being that I also work on Saturdays, another thing is like, as a student, you have to look for jobs that like kind of would allow you the flexibility to do your schoolwork.
Yeah.
I said in the last video where I talked about good paying job for students, if you're coming to a place like Saskatchewan, you can also try to look for like care jobs. Like, I always say this a lot, because for my care job, I get a lot of time as I'm even like taking care of my individual. I can still have time to like look at my schoolwork, get things done. So if you're the type that you know that standing for long hours is not for you, there are actually other job opportunities that you can explore. So I'm going to leave that video in the description box. Check it out, because it's going to help you with picking the right jobs as a student.
Well, how to balance it from my side, because this place, they are not author of confusion. Everything is well planned. So in the next like my place of work, from now till September till the end of December, I already know what my schedule is.
Yeah.
So I know how to fit in my schoolwork. Like I said earlier, I have assignments that are due on Tuesday, Monday rather, but I had already, like, they were ready. I was just waiting for the due date to turn them in, because I know that I was going to work Friday, Saturday, like back to back, and then I have quizzes and all of that. I had also done some reading. I just need to do like some brush up. So because you know your schedule, it allows you the time to even plan.
Yeah, true.
Except you want to now put all the work, because these people, they like it when you can work, when they call you and say, oh, are you available to take this shift? And then you say yes. Oh, that is you misplacing your priorities, because you actually need to balance these things. So for me, I think the schedule part allows you plan.
So another thing that we heard a lot when we were back home, or misconception that we had before coming here, at least for myself, and I know that they also felt that way, was like, oh, there are jobs in Canada that when you come to Canada as a student, you can just get a job and be doing and stuff. Guys, like, if you've been following me for a long time, I told you guys it took me 4 months to get like my first, what I would consider my first ideal job, okay? So getting a job here, especially as a student, is not so easy. Don't get me wrong, there are jobs in Canada. But sometimes you as a student, as a new immigrant, you might not have the qualifications for those type of jobs. And there's something about Canada that they value Canadian work experience. So like that thing, like they carry it on their heart, on their head, and on their chest. So they will always ask you, oh, Canadian experience. And you're coming from Nigeria, you don't have, or any African country, you don't have that experience, that Canadian experience. So how do you get the job? So it becomes an issue. Another thing about job here that like pissed me off when I got here is like, I thought, oh, I am and knowing people was just in Nigeria. Then I came to Canada.
It's called networking.
Networking, but you have to know people to refer you for jobs here.
Yeah, sure.
Like no cap. Getting a job here is not really as easy as they make it sound, especially for new immigrants.
In my experience, while I agree that getting a job is difficult, I just believe that here, getting a job requires you to be very strategic. You have to be very strategic. You do not just come in with a resume that does not match the job that you're applying for.
Yeah.
And intend and just say, oh, I have. They are not looking at the number of years of experience you have. While that also counts, they are looking for relevant experience that is related to the job in which that you are applying for. I'm one of the lucky bees that got a job in my second month of coming to Canada.
I'll bite your nose.
And first of all, I give God all the glory because God favored me. Yeah. I cannot even take that away. I got the job without interview, but you know, I want to also add, I added a bit of street smartness and being strategy.
But did someone recommend you for that job?
Nobody recommended me. Yeah. Yes, nobody recommended me for the job. Yeah. But I understood what the industry needed. And I just went for it. So if you're coming to Canada, you have to do research on what kind of jobs do you want? What are the certifications that are required to get that job? So even if you haven't done that job, you can register for them and include it in your resume to say, oh, I'm going to complete this course by the end of so time. And then you can apply for the job, but relevant experience. If you're looking for care job, don't put receptionist experience. If you're looking for receptionist job, don't put care experience or try to mix them together. No, it should be strictly on jobs or experience that are relevant to the job that you're looking for.
What Christy is saying just brought a lot of ideas in my head. So I don't know if you guys have heard something like this when they say if you're applying to 10 jobs in Canada, you are having 10 CVs. So that is what it means. Like if you want to apply for a particular job, you have to like tailor your CV and put the relevant experience that fits the description. Like I said, we are not bearers of bad news. So I'm going to tell you guys a way that you can also navigate this. When you are looking for a job and you go through Indeed and you see, like, let's say you want to come to Canada and be, maybe you were practicing HR in Nigeria and you're coming to Canada and you want to still go into HR, I would advise that you go through job postings in Canada. You will see qualifications that they need, an HR manager or whatever to have. So what you do is you begin to like tailor those certifications and write them down as, oh, I have to take this certification. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, one thing about Canada is like, that was even the most shocking thing to me. If you have a PhD, they don't care. If you want to have 200 PhDs, they don't care. They don't. What can you bring to the table? The person that has like a certificate of what they are looking for, they will pick that person over you that have a PhD in a field that is not really relevant to that particular job. So you just have to be wise.
Personally, for me, I would say that getting jobs in Canada can be really, really tough. But then when I came, I wasn't really ready to start working at the moment because like I just wanted to like calm down and see how the system works and everything. But when I was eventually ready, I would say I searched for about 2 months.
2 months, that's fine.
Before I finally got my job. Another thing with getting jobs, I think this is one reason why it's very, very hard to get jobs. Most times when you're applying for a particular position, they might not be looking for anything part-time. They'll be looking like for full-time jobs and all of them, and then you can't do full-time as a student, you get. So I think that's one reason why it's really, really hard to like get jobs, because I went for a couple of interviews and that was the problem. Like they needed a full-time position and all. And
I know a friend too who went to submit her resume and they were like, if you want full-time, we'll just give it to you
immediately.
So that's the thing. Most times getting a part-time position, like it can be really, really hectic. But as Christine said, another good thing is just like trying to tailor out your CV to match the job's description and all. I think that's like a very good tip that could help. If maybe you're in Nigeria, for instance, and your mother has a shop and you do help her, just add it to your CV if you're looking for a sales job or anything. Every experience is very important. Yeah, don't overlook all those small positions. They are like very, very important. Yeah. So
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I think Yemisi said this in the previous video that we shot. She said, don't throw away your Nigerian experience or your African experience and say like, because at the end of the day, what experience do you even have in Canada to start with? So you have to tailor it to fit into the job that you're looking for. And again, if you're a student and you want to get part-time job, like I was going to talk about that as a challenge, because most employers would not want to employ students just because they want a permanent, they feel like they can trust full-time people more, because if you're a student, they expect that your school should be your priority, right? But they don't know that we as Nigerians now work be priority. So they expect that your school should be your priority, right? So they are going to be reluctant about hiring you. They will rather give that position to someone that they can trust, that they can call at any point and they will show up or stuff. Not they will call you, be like, sir, I have a presentation, I can't really make it. No, they don't want. They are very, very like serious with their business. Nobody wants to play, okay?
Or they feel like when you're done with your school, you might just dump the
job. Yes. So another thing too, if you're a student and you want to do a part-time job as a student, if you're doing this is mostly for people doing their master's degree anyways, and even undergraduate programs too. So you can do take summer jobs or co-op placement. Those kind of jobs allow you the opportunity to work full-time. The only thing is that you as a master's student, you're only allowed to now take just one course for that semester, but you work full-time and they just let you do that because by the virtue of doing co-op. So that's another topic on its own, but I hope it helps. Another thing again that would help you if you're a new immigrant with this whole job thing, I always tell people, come prepared. Don't come to Canada without money. I know that Nigeria is hard, but like you're going to even experience a harder life and a more frustrating life if you come here without money. Come prepared. At least have money that will last you for a couple of months to pay for your rent, to pay your bills, or even like pay a tuition deposit. I don't know how you're going to do it, but just don't come to Canada without money. Like you're going to be so frustrated, and people here are not so. I mean, it's a society that is structured in a way that you don't really get people to even ask them for financial help. Nobody here sends you. Even your landlord will not even hear. If you don't pay my house rent first, if I don't send that money first, the next day I'm having interest too. So nobody cares. Please, I beg of you. Make sure you're coming with some money in your pocket.
In a country where it's an 80-year-old woman or man is still working.
Do you know? Like I go to Super, so you see people 80 years, 70 something still working.
Someone in one man today, that one don't reach 90.
You can imagine how tough it is, my darling. So please make sure that you're coming prepared, okay? But the good news is that any job that you get as a student, even if it's minimum wage, at least it will be able to sustain you for a while. And what I tell people is like, I feel like once you've landed your first job, it feels like God just set that path for you, and you just start getting jobs. You just start, growing. So don't look down on a job and be like, oh, I can't start with this. No, okay? Don't look down on any job because it's very, very, very important. Nothing is a waste. So the third point that we're going to try and talk about is school fees. I know that some of you already know that schooling in Canada is not cheap, okay? But it is more overwhelming when you actually come to Canada and you stay here. And I hope you guys know that as international students, you are paying like times 3 or 4 of what domestic students are paying. And sometimes when you meet these Canadians and you be like, I'm paying so and so amounts, they are like, what? For real? Like you're paying that much? Because these people they don't know what we go through here. So when we were back home, I felt like, oh, I knew my tuition cost, but also coming here and now having to pay it was a different shock for me entirely. And now school fees for University of Regina increased. I'm not even joking.
They increase the school fees every year based on the inflation rate.
So it's not been a very good experience for me, and that's why I'm rushing up to finish my program because.
So for school fees, back home you'll be like, we go fee run anyhow. Yes, but you have to make your research very well. Like before I came to my school, I had actually thought that I would be given an opportunity to spread the school fees. But that's one thing I love Ontario about. Ontario has a lot of schools that are flexible in their payments, right? So by the time I got to my school and I realized that I have to pay the balance of my fee up front, baby girl that was coming to come and school and pay school fees. So those were the research that I didn't do before coming, and it came as an absolute shock. Wallahi, if I tell you, say I no cry, it's a lie. I wept. But baby girl has to figure out how to go about this life, right? Because we're already here. So when you're getting into a school, make sure you do your research. Send that email. Ask them 1,000,001 questions if you have to. Get clarity on what you are about to get into. Be sure that you're able to spread your school fees. Be sure what amount it is that you're going to pay per installment. And do research on what their minimum wage is. And say, okay, if I get a job and I'm able to work 20 hours a week, if they pay me minimum wage, and just do the maths and take out, look, everything is online. Check out for tax. Even if you're not correct, just put in any rate to say, okay, if they remove tax, how much is left? What is the average rent? What is going to be left? How am I going to do this? So that you wouldn't come and dive into an ocean. It is very, very important. So that's my experience.
Personally, for me, I actually paid my entire school fees before coming here, so I may not really have much to say about it.
You see, she came prepared, so even if she didn't want to work so much, she can be chilling and just be working to pay her bills. Do you understand? Her light bills and stuff like that. So honestly, guys, like Christy said, make sure you ask questions. Make sure you ask questions. Honestly,
the answer today may not be the answer tomorrow, because this place changes. My admission, right? You could pay your deposit, and if you get a visa refusal, they will give you back your money. Right? Now, if you get admission in my school, get a refusal,
you're your own.
Your money don't go.
Are you for it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to also find out.
A huge chunk. They will give you back some money,
but
that
a
is
huge chunk will be out.
If you even turn in the refusal letter within 7 working days, but you're not going to get that 10,000 back.
Wow, that's not fair though.
So that's why people go to Ontario a lot. So you have to do your research. You know the school you're going to. Ask questions. You see that thing they're writing in that offer letter. You know Nigerians, we don't like to read.
Read it. We don't like to read.
You're about to accept what will kill you.
But you're just so excited. You have gotten admission.
So you have to read the terms and conditions of that school and the offer letter or whatever. But make sure that you have clarity of what you're trying to get into.
Exactly. Interesting. So another thing too that is that we are going to give as maybe a point that you bear in mind with tuition is that some schools would allow you to register for classes when you are owing a certain amount. I know for my program in U of R, you can owe like 2,000 and you still be able to register for the next semester. Before COVID, 500. If you're owing 500 or more, you're not registering for the next class. But since COVID, they know that a lot of things have changed. So you can also find out if your school has such policy. That way you're like, okay, even if I'm not able to meet up, I can still register for classes, because if I'm owing more than 2,000, I won't be able to register for the next semester.
Like for my school, if you're doing a 1-year program, you're not allowed to pay in installments. But if you're doing a 2 years program, you can pay the second year in installment. But the first year you pay in full upfront, but the second year you can pay in installments. I didn't know all of this until I came here.
You came here, right? So you guys, it's so interesting that they are bringing in these perspectives. If you're doing a 1-year program, make sure you are doing your research with the school. If you're doing a 2 years program, do your research, because even it might be the same school, it might even be the same program, but there might be different just because of different conditions, just because of the number of the years that your program is for. Another point that we want to talk about is cost of living. We don't want to sound cliche, because we know you've heard it a lot, but it's very important to talk about it now, following the inflation that is just everywhere. So if you live in Africa and you think that there is inflation there, honestly, you have to witness the one in Canada. Like, the cost of groceries, like I've been ranting about it in my videos, if you guys watch. I've been ranting about it because it is really, really not funny. All right, things are not getting cheaper. And do you know the funny thing is that like when I go to the grocery stores and like Africans are still shopping, immigrants are still shopping and managing, you see the real Canadians, they are complaining, because I feel like governments have really, really like not spoiled them, but like they've had life a bit easier. So when they see any small suffer, they are like, I'm like, this one is even like if our government was like this,
it's very good.
Will I be here? Will I be here? So that is it. Like cost of living here is really not as fun as I thought it would be. The house rent I pay for my house in Abuja before I moved here is almost what I pay in a month here. Like with the current exchange rate. I mean, there's no need to actually compare because the exchange rate is quite different. But at the same time, it's still really, really hard, especially for students. Like students just make money to pay tuition and just to pay rent. It's not just rent. When you paid rent, you have light bills, you have Wi-Fi bill, you are paying water bills, power bill. I'm like, we should just even kill me because like these bills are too much. Yeah, and another part of the bill that I'm going to talk about before my friends give their opinion is taxing. Taxing system here is crazy. You go to the store and see something of like $270. You're like,
hold up, that's not the price.
I have the money, like let me get it. By the time they go to they're like, auntie, please, can you remove this? Can you remove this? Because when they add the tax, it is crazy. And they charge, Canada is a provincial government, right? The provincial tax, federal tax. By the time they add it, the thing will skyrocket to like 300 or something. You are wondering what is this. Even when you're earning your salary, you think you're earning $2,000 in a month, and you're like, I'm a big by the time I get it minus this, I will save this, do that. My dear, I'm sorry, but you might not be going home with 1,004. Like the amount to be going home with will shock you. Like it's actually very, very crazy. The taxing system here, like. But I guess we're not complaining. We're just telling you guys.
Well, on a lighter note, while I agree that cost of living is high, but the society provides you the opportunity to be able to afford it. You just have to be able to work.
Yeah.
So long as you are not lazy, you can afford it.
Another thing like that Christy talked about that is like, I need to emphasize this, is like, see, Canada is not for the lazy man. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to say, oh, Nigerians or Africans are lazy, because I know that Nigerians are not lazy people. But, like, there are some people that have had life easier and they just don't want to stretch or go beyond their comfort zone. My dear, you cannot work here. It cannot work here, like, if you're, like, not willing to work. And as a student, you already know now, because like we said, part-time jobs is like your best bet. You might be having to combine 2 or 3 jobs, so you have to really have a strong level of like determination, hard work, zeal, everything to be able to combine it. So honestly, Canada is not for the lazy man. Like you can be lazy back home, but if you are truly wanting to move to Canada, especially as a student, laziness just has to leave the book because you're gonna work.
Yeah, so for me, I think the difference between Nigeria and here is in Nigeria, even though cost of living is high, people cannot even afford
the basic.
Right? But here, cost of living is high, inflation is increasing, the tax is crazy, but you can still afford
it.
What, like you can still afford the basic things, right? Like recently, guys, I just got an iPhone 15 Plus Pro Max rather. As an international student in Nigeria,
for who that's full-time,
do you get? So they make life so easy for you.
I
didn't buy it upfront. I bought it on credit, and I'm going to pay like $20-something for 2 years. So it's
$20-something.
Yes, $20-something minus the phone plan. Just the phone is about $29 or so.
That's amazing,
So yes, the tax is crazy, but if you know what you earn and what's your code
according to your
clothes, you get life goes soft for you. So you will not go and stay in a 2-bed when your paycheck can only afford a 1-bed. You will not want to stay alone when your paycheck can afford you to share an accommodation. In Nigeria we're not used to sharing. I want to stay alone. But here sharing is like it's common.
It's good.
Yes, it's normal. Like when you stay alone, people are like, do you stay alone? It's questions people ask. Like, do you stay alone? Because it's not new. And I mean, cost of living is high, but so long as you are not lazy,
you'll be fine.
There's an
fine.
opportunity for you to actually work and make such money.
Exactly.
So if you want to live baby girl life, you work baby girl work. If you see that, so if you see that you want to miss work today, and remember that when you miss work, no pay. No Nigeria, you can call and say, I'm not feeling well today. If you're not feeling well, no, it's okay.
You're not getting nada.
You're not being paid for that day, so you know that your money is short. So it's a whole different situation here. So just like Amara said, we're not bearers of bad news. We're also bearers of good news. Cost of living is high. It's extremely high. Inflation is crazy. Tax here is 11%. So anything you buy, add 11%. That's the price. But by God's grace, we're affording it. And if you can do the work, you can afford it. So welcome to Canada.
Thank you. I love that.
Okay, I would say that in as much as the tax is very, very high, but then you actually see that the government is putting this tax into use. Like, you have good rules, you're in a country where the system is working. You get to the hospital and you are seeing all the facilities, you're seeing all the equipment. So I feel like this is actually mitigating factors. So when you look at the bad side, I'm paying all this tax for this, you also look at the good side, like I'm actually getting value for what I'm paying.
And they increase the minimum wage too based on the inflation.
True.
Now that Lauren said it just reminded me there was a month like I got almost $1,000. Was that almost $1,000, almost $2,000 from the government? Like, but no, don't get me wrong. That was even the month I got my car. So when some of you even asked me, how do you make money? Like, some of those things really helped me because I had applied for this housing return, whatever. As a new student, I got $500. My tax return, I got like almost $400. And every month, government was almost giving me $150 for climate change, climate whatever. And they still sent me another check again for tax. Like at the end, it was almost like 1,008-ish. I'm like, so you see, at least you're paying, and then those tax you are paying, I hope you know that you're doing a tax return at the beginning of the year. So I can't even wait to find my tax return because give me my money.
True.
So like, you guys are going to still like see benefit of what the government is doing.
Like,
it's not the one that they
still pay tax, and but nothing is working out.
If you're in a situation, you're on your own, right? So it's very, very good that they brought these perspectives out.
Lovelies, like Amara would call you guys. Hey, loves. So the last point on our list is buses and owning a car. I never knew how important this is until I got to Canada, precisely Moose Jaw. So I'm currently living and studying in Moose Jaw. And I had friends in Ontario, Calgary before I came, and they all told me how good the bus system is until I got to Moose Jaw and realized that
it's not the same.
I'm asking people, where are the buses? Nobody could give me a definite answer. They don't work on weekends. They are not even available. They don't use all routes. My school is 7 minutes drive from my house is 7 minutes drive from the school, but bus is like 40 something minutes to the school. What kind of craziness is that? At that point, I realized that owning a car is not luxury. It's very, very important because it makes your life easy. I mean, going to work, and then when employers want to hire you, they want to know if you're driving. Because it snows really bad here, and they don't want you to give them excuses of saying, you can't come to work because you don't have a car and all of that. So owning a car is extremely important. So for my advice for anyone coming to Canada would be, if you drive in Nigeria, but that's not to say that if you don't have a car you will not survive. But it just puts more pressure. You're already on a lot of pressure, school pressure, work pressure, financial pressure. You don't want another stress again. So if you can afford it, if you drive back in Nigeria, sell your car, package your money, and come to Canada. When you come to Canada, even if what you have is not enough, there are some people, so there are some car dealers that does pay and buy small. You know that you be paying monthly. When you pay maybe like 70%, you can pay the rest off on a certain agreed
duration.
Exactly. So it is important, but if you cannot afford it, this video now is for you to reinforce. Buckle up. Yes, buckle up. if you have to come with enough Lucozade Busungwa, come with it because you will need energy to trek.
Yeah.
From my house to my school, like I said, it's 7 minutes drive. It's 43 minutes by bus and it's 48 minutes by walk.
Imagine.
5 minutes walk during winter
Is great.
It's like 100 minutes.
I beg, let's not even get there.
So that is the essence of this car versus bus thing, especially for Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
In fact, I like to say that there's no bus here.
Yeah, I like this thing Christy is talking about is like, honestly, because people will be like, hey, you just got to Canada, you're buying car, you made this one, my dear. Sorry, like, you cannot really understand till you come. Hey, you cannot really understand. And then again, I always preach it here, dynamics, the dynamics of your life and where you're living, okay? If you're staying in a province like Saskatchewan and like some other smaller provinces, bus system is not the best in those provinces. And here, like, let me speak for Saskatchewan, it's not the best. Buses can disappoint you. Buses can, and like for me, I have 4 jobs, right? If I need to go, at least I have 3 that I have to be there physically. If I need to go, my employer will not even hear that. Oh, I miss my boss. I miss, like, they don't really care.
They're very
like,
strict with time.
Thank you. They might agree and be like, okay, no problem. But my dear, when you see your paycheck, Baba is gonna be there because the body won't be complete. Okay, so like it's not really car is a necessity here. It's like the leg that you need to walk. But that's not to say also, like Christy said, that you won't survive. You will survive, but plan it. Think about it. The 3 of us, we all drive, right? We all drive, and we all use the bus more at a point, maybe even for a week. I think Christy be big baby. She bought her car sharp. So like, but at least me, I know I use the bus for almost 2 semesters here, so I can tell you that it was not fun. So if you can save up and get a car,
no, so the drive for me to buy a car, right, was, so first of all, when I came in, my luggage didn't arrive. You know that. It took a while for my luggage to arrive. So at this point, I was booked to do training for one of the jobs that I was trying to apply for. And then one of these rides picked me up and dropped me off there, unknowing to me that I mixed up the day. The training was supposed to be the following day.
I think
this was somehow, because I didn't have my luggage with me, I had no clothes to like cover up clothes to wear. I was wearing one of my short Ankara dress. My God, to walk from that place to like Tim Hortons, that was like 3 minutes walk. I was bleeding from my nose.
Yeah,
it was so cold.
Summer.
So I told myself, if this is summer, then once winter, I just advised myself, go and borrow that money and buy that car because you're gonna need it. And I finished paying for my car.
Good. Yeah. Honestly, like, car is actually a necessity.
Okay, the day I knew I needed a car was the day I said I was going to walk home because I missed my bus, and not like I had any other option. I had to like walk home, and that was during the winter time, March. That was March, and wow, I died. I froze. Like, I was literally crying, and then people were like passing, and no one even cared to like stop and give me a lift or anything. I'm like, these people are wicked. I'm like, these people are wicked. So I had to like rush into a store, like got a bit warm. I was there for like 15 minutes. I got warmed up a bit, then I continued my journey, met another store, entered the store. Like, that was basically like how I did the whole thing till I got home. I was like, no, I can't continue to do this.
Imagine if you were going to work that day. You wouldn't have been able to really get the time.
Exactly. And guys, like, if you're living in a province like Ontario, some parts of Ontario, we know that some parts of Ontario are not really all that too.
Like
so
Thunder Bay
and the rest of them. If you're living like in Toronto, Calgary, I've not been to this place, but I assume that they are big and their bus system is better. Maybe you will not really say you need. So that's why I say dynamics. But if you're living in somewhere like Moose Jaw, even Regina, and some places that
I have friends in Ontario. She's 2 years there now, and she
doesn't.
She doesn't own a car. She has never complained of the bus disappointing. System. It's just like London.
Exactly.
Maybe
because
just in Saskatchewan here, or maybe some other province.
I know someone in Toronto too, and this person doesn't own a car. And when I ask, they are like, a car is a liability to them there because paying for parking in those big cities is like crazy. And then this person has to just go to work and use the bus back, because if you have to pay for parking, like, I think he said like you're going to be paying almost $50 for a day. How much are you earning?
Exactly.
So but for here it's fair. Like, you can actually just own a car because of how bad the or how poor the transportation system.
And you can
is.
use your loonies, your
Your
coin,
loonies, yeah,
for
pay
India.
for parking. Yeah, exactly. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. We've come to the end of this video. I actually enjoyed filming this video with them. I don't know if you guys want us to film a part 2. Let us know in the comment section so that I will use it and tie them. I'll use it and tie them.
Yeah. Let us know what you want us to talk about. I live in Mujor.
Yeah.
I live in Mujor too. Yeah.
I live in Regina, so I drove all the way to
Come be with them.
Alright guys, so we are going to end this video now. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave us your ideas or like your perspective and what you think in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.